The sound of a cork being pulled from a wine bottle highlights our happiest moments. But there is another sound, solid yet soft, that, once heard, is unforgettable. It is the sound of cork harvesting. A primordial rhythm that marks the artisanal process of working cork, a cultural heritage passed down from generation to generation. It is the sound of patience, care, sensitivity, a nature nurtured and protected by the knowledge and craftsmanship of the people who engage with it to create value. To tell the full story of natural cork on its journey from tree to bottle, we begin with its fundamental characteristics. The botanical name for the cork oak is Quercus Suber. Its bark is an extraordinary layer made up of millions of microcells, mainly composed of suberin, forming a complex universe of simplicity. The cork harvest season in the Montado forest runs from April to July. The majestic oaks take an average of 25 years to grow and prepare for the first harvest. After that, 9 years must pass between harvests. In the cork world, patience is a necessary virtue. The cork oak is the ultimate symbol of environmental sustainability. There is no need to cut down the tree to obtain the raw material, which is removed from 2/3 of the trunk. The bark regenerates completely, becoming smoother after each harvest. White lime on a reddish trunk. Farmers mark each tree with the last digit of the harvest year. Skilled, experienced workers begin the meticulous debarking process very early in the morning at first light and finish no later than 1 p.m. After that time, the heat would be unbearable, making any operation difficult for both the workers and the trees. It is a manual process with ancient roots, performed with the help of a single tool, the axe, a task that requires precision, strength, and sensitivity. First, a vertical cut is made along the deepest groove in the bark, separating the plank from the trunk. Then, by inserting the axe handle between the inner bark and the plank and rotating it skillfully, the board is detached. After the first vertical cut, a second horizontal cut is made to determine the size of the board being removed. The goal is to harvest it whole. The larger the plank, the greater its productive yield. The workers proceed with care. An accidental cut could leave a permanent scar on the trunk and compromise the health of the cork oak. If fragments of cork remain at the base of the trunk, they must be removed to allow the bark to regenerate fully. The bare trunk, now bright orange, begins its spectacular regeneration process. It will darken over time, turning reddish-brown and eventually almost black. The harvesting and industrial processing of cork help create and sustain thousands of jobs, encouraging people to remain in forested areas and combating desertification and rural exodus. In Portugal alone, cork oak forests generate 9,000 jobs in the cork industry. and 6,500 in forest maintenance. Additionally, cork harvesting is the highest paid agricultural activity in the world. Yes, bark strippers are paid very well, but it's increasingly difficult to find experienced workers. This type of work was traditionally passed from father to son, forming teams in which experience was handed down through the generations. Moreover, it is seasonal work, which adds another challenge to finding qualified labour. Ideally, there should be enough workers to maintain balance in transport and scheduling. Because if one stage is faster or slower than the others, the process may stall. While it is a profitable activity, cork harvesting also holds incalculable, intangible value. It becomes a living heritage. With every harvest, a ritual is repeated. Year after year, a ceremony unfolds, involving man and nature. This highly specialized activity requires the transmission of knowledge from generation to generation and deep mastery. José is one of the cork harvesters in the Alentejo forest. He has been doing it for 47 years. He tells us he wakes at 4 in the morning and works from 6 until 1 in the afternoon. Every day from May to August. The hardest part is coping with the high temperatures, but he loves working surrounded by nature, in the heart of the forest, amidst its scents and sounds. The sound of axes peeling bark strikes a deep chord. The one of the unbreakable bond between man and nature. A bond that becomes virtuous only if one does not overpower the other. Only if respect and love for the planet at the foundation of every decision. In José's eyes, we can read this awareness. Removing the bark without harming the tree, without disrupting its balance, in fact, helping its regeneration, is a form of care, an art not learned in any academy, but only by listening and resonating with the sound of cork.